Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today's trade is a little continuation of this Absolute Carnage Scream limited series that was an Absolute Carnage tie-in. We have reviewed that, now we are reviewing what comes after Scream Curse of Carnage. Quick read-up of the back of the book. Out of Absolute Carnage comes a new symbiotic sensation, and it'll be a Scream. Patricia Robertson, Andy Benton, Donna Diego, their stories have all been leading to this. Now one of Venom's original offspring, and quite possibly the strongest, stars at last in her own adventure. But in the wake of Carnage's assault, what remains of the Scream symbiote? Who is its host? What are its intentions? And what will a pair of web-slinging wall crawlers have to say about Scream's presence in New York? Meanwhile, a darkness has formed in the waters surrounding the Big Apple, something evil that beckons Scream with a siren song. With Venom nowhere to be found, this is now her problem. But what is its connection to Null, god of the symbiotes? Collects Scream Curse of Carnage 1 through 6 by Clay McLeod, Chapman, Chris Monaghan, Gary Brown, and Rain Barreto. Rated T for teen. Kind of a horrific book. It's pretty dark. Keep that in mind. But I think they were going for more of a horror vibe, which makes sense and is kind of what they should do with the symbiotes. Anyways, if you would like to read Scream Volume 1 Curse of Carnage, I do recommend that you read Absolute Carnage and Absolute Carnage Scream first, as well as Venom Volume 1 Rex by Donny Cates. Those are the three things that you'll really want to read before this. Of course, if you read Absolute Carnage, you'll probably want to read all the Venom leading up to it and tying into it, but mostly just the main event, because that's where Scream is kind of resurrected. In a way. So Andy Benton is the current host of Scream, and this, there are these, troubles she's having. She's, very insecure about her mother abandoning her. Her aunt who's taking care of her is dead. Her mentor, Flash Thompson, who she calls Coach, is dead. Her dad is dead and has been for a while. So, she's not doing too hot. She lost, the Mania symbiote to Maniac, who I believe then lost it to Cletus Cassidy. And then during Absolute Carnage Scream, the Scream symbiote attached to her, and she doesn't really seem to want it. She's not used to it. I think she's more used to the Mania symbiote that wasn't as... I guess it didn't talk to her in her head as much. I don't remember that Agent Venom stuff, to be completely honest. With the Devil's Mark, which she still has, but forgets to use when she really needs it sometimes. And there are all these amalgamations of dead flesh from under the sea, like dead human flesh, very Lovecraftian looking monsters, dead human flesh fused with dead sea creature flesh. And it turns out it's like symbiotes that are holding them together, these weird degenerative symbiotes that are trying to get Scream, because there's this creature called, the Mother or something in the harbor that wants to make Scream her child. She wants to adopt Scream, but Scream doesn't want to be adopted. Scream wants to stay with Andy, but Andy doesn't want Scream. The Scream is a little violent for Andy, I believe. But this mother creature just wants Scream and doesn't want Andy, is another part of the big thing. And it really manipulates Andy's emotions by making creatures that look like her mother, who left, and, Null has awoken, so this mother, who it turns out is the, I guess you want to say mother of Grendel? Because you remember Thor fought the Grendel dragon symbiote, which is one of the things that put Null in a coma, and apparently this was his mother, which Thor also fought, and didn't fuck, like the Legend of Beowulf said. We also see that Scream has some, really, really good shape-shifting abilities, far better than Venom's. Like, Venom couldn't make wings and stuff until he had new powers unlocked. And here, Scream just does it casually, and it's not even treated like it's a big deal. It's treated like it's something normal she's always been able to do. She transforms into, like, a seafaring form, multiple sea forms, like one that can swim and one that's good at crawling on the ocean floor. And then she also spreads wings and flies away. And these are powers that were likely unlocked by Noel as well. I haven't read terribly much with Scream in the past, but these forms are really cool. And her wings that she uses are more like flying fish wings, so it's still like very aquatic. They weren't like bat wings like Venom had. Very cool. But Andy kind of learns to accept Scream, and Scream really is trying to look out for her. Hopefully hopefully it's not as much of a fucked relationship as Venom's becomes. But Andy actually starts to get close to Aunt May. She's staying at the Feast Shelter, which, as you know, Aunt May runs. Which is very interesting. So she kind of helps her. And of course she defeats the mother and etc. But then there's also another issue about these old people called the Creeps who are abducting children. And, it's got cameos from The Punisher and Sandman. But, Scream tries to stop them, and then what seems to be an even bigger threat is revealed. But we don't really get to see it, because it kind of just ends on a to be continued note. But I'm not entirely sure it was ever continued, because I don't think Scream got more stuff until the current Carnage thing that's going on at the time of recording this. There's a current Carnage thing happening, and she's part of it. But yeah, I'm not sure that story was ever followed through with. If it was, and I just can't find it anywhere, please let me know what it was called. But yeah, that is it for Scream Volume 1, Curse of Carnage. The art was really cool, and I like that even though the villain was still just a symbiote, they did something very creative with it. Apparently this symbiote character has been around since like the early 2000s. They were awakened in a Captain Marvel book or something that I haven't read. I haven't read a lot of Captain Marvel for any Captain Marvel. I have a bunch of Carol Danvers books, but I haven't gotten to them yet. I've only read a bit of them. But yeah, it was very interesting because it was kind of new for a symbiote villain. Like making amalgamations of the dead sea creature fresh to make these Lovecraftian horrors, and they had kind of more unique motivations. Like, symbiote villains are often kind of like the Life Foundation symbiotes, which she is a part of. When they were villains, they were kind of just whatever. And even as the protagonist, Scream is still kind of just whatever. I like Andy, but Scream isn't as interesting as Carnage or Venom. But she is more interesting than the other Life Foundation symbiotes. I'll give her that. Plus that prehensile hair. That's just a cool ability, honestly. Very Medusa. But yeah, that's it for this book. I'm not sure if it's a super duper must read for King in Black, because I haven't gotten to King in Black yet. I'm actually catching up on all this symbiote stuff so that I can read King in Black. But it was enjoyable enough. If you're a big symbiote fan, I say go for it. But if you're not big into symbiotes, it's probably passable. You could probably pass on it. But that is it. Remember, by Clay McLeod, Chapman, Chris Moneyham, Gary Brown, and Rain Berardo. Collects Scream, Curse of Carnage 1-6. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Not sure what I want to do next. So let me know what you actually want to see, because I have Absolute Carnage, The Immortal Hulk, and Other Stories that I need to do. I'm also ready to review Godzilla in Hell, as well as the first 9 volumes of The Immortal Hulk, which I'd very much like to talk about. So that is it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I will see you all next time.